What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to JQ.
For example, if I am going to come and say this government, the leaders in this government lied to the Zambian people that they were going to reduce the cost of living. So that in itself may be defined, if you're going to look at it maliciously, as me having inciting the people to rise against the government. But the truth of the matter is, and which is supposed to be the question to be asked, is that statement bordered on a malicious intention, or is it bordered on truth? And the answer is that it is true. This government came into power on a promise that they shall reduce the cost of living. Is it true that this government promised the Zambian people that the moment they are elected into power, the cost of fertilizer will reduce, the cost of milling will reduce? It is true. But what we are seeing is the exact opposite. Now, is it a lie? Now, so you find that governments such as this one, which is hell-bent on punishing those with opposing views, would rise and give people charges that are seriously malicious, all in the name of intimidating, curtailing people's rights to express themselves, curtailing people's rights to associate with any political party of their choice or any religion of their choice. So it becomes a challenge. Right now, our democracy is at the brink of collapse. It's at the brink of collapse because these rights are being curtailed by the use of lawfare. So what this government has been doing is using lawfare to curtail on several human rights. And with the human rights violations have become so apparent. So they will come in and charge with an offense of hate speech, which equally borders on ensuring that the statement you're making should not be false. So here I am on radio today speaking to the Zambian people and reminding them that once upon a time, Bali indicated on his social media platforms that having power in the homes has become more like being in possession of an illegal substance. Now the question is it a lie? It is true, because he mocked the load shedding that was happening. He lied to the Zambian people that I have completely gotten rid of load shedding within 1 year. But what we are seeing is we are headed towards 16 hours of load shedding. In some areas, they are not even seeing power. But this is a service that we pay for. You know, it has become more like a social right. But what we are seeing is unfortunate, because our leaders have failed to provide alternatives that they themselves told the Zambian people that they had. They had a 10-point plan. Which 10-point plan? I don't know whether they lost those scripts. I don't know whether those scripts were eaten by rats in their homes. So we hope that this government should wake up and know to say the kind of abrogations of rights using lawfare, such as the law with regards to seditious practice, the law with regards to espionage, the law with regards to hate speech, is not enough to unite this country. Because what we have now seen is lawfare being used to disintegrate the peace that we have, unfortunately.
Obviously, you heard crossly when the president was addressing the nation with regards to the resolution by cabinet to obviously debate this in parliament so that the laws relating to the issuance of hate speech as well as tribal remarks can be stiffened. And of course, parliamentary business resumed as we speak. What is your expectation? Do you think if this law is stiffened, or if these laws are stiffened, we'll see a united country, and a country to which politicians, you know very well that issuance of tribal remarks might breed violence or a situation that happened in Rwanda? Do you think this is a solution to the problem that Zambia is faced with right now?
I'm inclined to believe that The speech that was made by President Hakainde Hichilema was ill-motivated.
Why do you say so?
It was one speech that, I'm getting there, it was one speech that was unscripted. I think it was too emotional on the part of the president. He spoke with his emotions rather than his wisdom. I will tell you that going forward, I would suggest and implore our colleagues at State House to ensure that those that handle the president and the presidential speeches should ensure that the president sticks to the script. His speeches should always be scripted. And the reason is simple. How does an entire president reduce himself to making comments and calling an honorable member of parliament as a thug? And on top of that, how does a president, with all the legal brains surrounding him, decide to mislead himself and mislead the Zambian people that he shall be revisiting a matter that stands closed? Because according to him, he feels it was never handled well. That is so instructive to the judiciary, to the guys that enforce the law, and those that come up with offenses. Imagine you want to speak to issues to do with an offense such as that which was charged to Honorable J. Banda in 2016. He was sentenced the right punishment or penalty or judgment was passed against him, and the right procedures were followed. Now today, President should come and say, no, we need to revisit these matters. Which law are they going to use? There is no judge who can entertain a matter which came to res judicata, or it came to a conclusion, not even res judicata, it came to a conclusion in 2016. You only have 30 days for you to appeal to such a criminal conviction. What law are they going to use to have 3, 4, 5 years down the line to say we're going to revisit a certain judgment? There's no law, legal backing. If they intended to review a judgment, they should have done it within 30 days. If they intended to appeal, they should have done it within 30 days. So why should the president be misled? Or maybe he was misled by the people he consulted. Or maybe he was speaking out of his own lack of understanding of legal issues. But it's very disappointing. It's extremely disappointing that we would reduce our presidency to speaking to things that are not backed up by the law. Not backed up by the law. So next time, I think our colleagues dealing with the handling of the president should ensure that they script whatever it is that the president will say, because that was embarrassing. It was an embarrassment to the legal brains in the country, because no reasonable judge would ever even think of citing such a request. No reasonable judge would ever do that. I mean, the law is clear. The state should have appealed if they were aggrieved by the punishment that were given to these suspects. So I think for me, I will say that speech left much to be desired, because 3 hours of giving a speech, 85% was just talking about one individual, the former president. Now, Zambian people are asking to say, okay, fine. The president had an opportunity to give hope to Zambians, to say the cost of living is high, I am aware, and these are the issues I'm putting in place to ensure that this is done. What does he do? He talks about President Lungu for over 2.5 hours in his speech. He talks about issues that are neither here nor there, like discussing issues of the offense JJ may have committed some 4 or 5 years ago. Now, he had an opportunity to reassure people and the members of parliament to say they are safe. He had an opportunity to reassure the family of Honorable J. Banda to say the police are going to do their job to investigate thoroughly what transpired. He had an opportunity to unite the country in real terms, unlike venting threats of such sorts. Now, I will tell you, there is an intention to up the the punishments that would be given to suspects or persons who will have committed the offenses of tribalism. Now, we should get to the core of this. Why is it that talking about an issue such as tribalism has become too much of an offense according to this regime, and yet performing it is not being considered an offense? Imagine there is performance of this bad tendency that has come up, and many people have outlined it. Imagine there is a team, there's a group of people called Umozi Kumawa, is it? Who have come out and said, no, we equally want to be part of the governance system of the country. Appointments must be fairly done. We want to be part of this. We have other groupings of the society feeling marginalized. Why? Simply because they feel appointments are not being done on merits. They are being done on.
It was detested. We should put that on record.
And it's unfortunate.
We should put that on record, Mr. Mkandida, that our cabinet has representation from Eastern Province as well, and of course. The people that obviously the Umozi Kumawa crew was pushing for did distance themselves from the statements that we're making, saying that they want to promote regionalism in this country. And this is what you would want to promote.
So do we realize, and I will tell you, I speak to 73 ethnic groups in this country. I will tell you that it is extremely crucial that this president should speak to issues and effect actions on them. Now, what we are seeing is a scenario where he will talk about one thing today by broad daylight. The actions we are seeing by his lieutenants are totally different. Imagine this is a president who reassured the Zambian people that the rule of law shall be called of his leadership and his rule in Zambia. But what did we see? Today you are arrested. Before the police could even investigate, lawyers will go to the police to inform the police to say, okay, we want to deal with our clients. What can we do? We want to ensure that we secure a bond because this is a bondable offense. They will now indicate that, no, we are investigating. A laughable one, notable amongst the laughable ones, was that of the apprehension of Lumezi Member of Parliament. The police had indicated that they are apprehending him on charges of use of insulting language. Before you know it, they equally inform you to say, no, we are investigating. It's very laughable. How do you investigate an insult? It's actionable per se. Everyone knows to say, if there's an insult, well, you act.
All right.
Now, these are misdemeanors that should be handled, and the rule of law should be followed.
All right, Mr. Kandila will continue on that particular path. Allow me to take a business break. As we get back, we'll also be speaking to the Inspector General of Police. Obviously, as it now has become an issue of concern to individuals, going by the different remarks that have come through from his office. The last with regards to why opposition rallies are not being allowed and why UPND members are not surely arrested for what is perceived to be the issuance of hate speech. Let's take a business break, back within 5 minutes.
Get the latest in-depth business news, both local and international stories on the Breakfast Business Check, Monday to Thursday at 7:55 hours, exclusive to Live Radio 97.3 FM.
All right, welcome to our business check this morning right here on Live Radio 97.2 FM. Checking in with regards to the statistics coming to you from the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, as far as the cost of living is concerned. Obviously, by now you know for a fact that a family of 5 within Lusaka is supposed to spend obviously 10,701 kwacha 13 way to just afford a decent obviously meal at the end of the day. But of course, bigger questions coming through are with regards to how many people get paid this huge sum of money to just afford having a decent, obviously, livelihood at the end of it all. And it speaks into the poverty levels to which the country will continue recording. as at the end of this year. Now, according to the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, they did release a report yesterday with regards to the trends in the cost of living, and they did state that despite hopes for a decrease, the cost of living for a family of 5 in Zambia remained high in May 2024, shedding light on the challenges posed by elevated prices of basic food and non-food items. Or the baskets remained higher than Zambia's annual average earning of 5,342. So this means that in Zambia, the average earning for anyone who's working is 5,342, according to JCTR. So let's look into the trends of the cost of living. Which town is the cheapest for you to live in here in the country if you'd love to surely live according to what is said to be good? So in Kasama, the cost of living is cheaper in that in Kasama, a family of 5 is spending 5,378 kwacha, 95 ngo. Of course, this is not cheaper, but it's cheaper according to the trends compared to other towns. In Chinsali, a family of 5 is spending 5,824 kwacha to just spend within a month. In Choma, a family of 5 is spending 6,441 kwacha. In Wancha, a family of 5 is spending 6,601 kwacha. In Monze, a family of 5 is spending 6,813 kwacha. In Mansa, a family of 5 is spending 6,847 kwacha. And in Pika, a family of 5 is spending 7,769 kwacha. In Mazabuka, a family of 5 is spending 7,891 kwacha. In Kabwe, a family of 5 is spending 8,595 kwacha. In Livingston, a family of 5 is spending 8,693 kwacha. And of course, in Kitwe, a family of 5 is spending 8,995 kwacha. In Solowezi, a family of 5 is spending 9,628 kwacha. This is second to Lusaka, where a family of 5 is spending 10,701 kwacha. For this reason, yesterday, the Economics Association of Zambia held its press briefing, speaking to the cost of living in the country. And of course, they urged the president, together with his, obviously, ministers, to look into the cost of living. And of course, in that respect, the Economics Association of Zambia president and Oswald Mungule urged the government to be able to address proactively issues of the cost of living, citing the huge impact which this is having on the general citizenry. The EAZ, the president, challenged government to address the rising cost of living by boosting the supply of essential goods and managing their prices. And of course, he cited the proactiveness that you would want to see within the agriculture value chain so as to push the trickle-down effect on the general citizenry. Jokingly, I was laughing as I was reading the news at 7:15, the attribution to which the leadership movement has made that tribal talks in the country have increased due to hunger, urging government that they should be able to address the cost of living, the rise in cost of living, because the reasons to why people are issuing tribal remarks, it is based off the fact that their tempers, they're not affording to surely faint off. That is just on the lighter note. Obviously, it is something that we cannot joke about. Let's cross over to the banks and look into the exchange rates as of this morning.
Exchange rate. Exchange rate.
All right, the exchange rates as compared by Zanaco, you're buying the United States dollar 26 kwacha, 24 ngwe, and the selling at 26 kwacha, 75 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 33 kwacha, 43 ngwe, and selling at 34 kwacha, 9 ngwe. The Euro is buying at 28 kwacha, 18 ngwe, and selling at 28 kwacha, 74 ngwe. The South African Rand is buying at 1 kwacha, 41 ngwe, and selling at 1 kwacha, 44 ngwe. Take note that rates change according to market price. There you have it. That is our latest updates as far as business is concerned this morning. Good morning to you.
The exchange rate. Exchange rate.
Get the latest in-depth business news, both local and international stories on the Breakfast Business Check, Monday to Thursday at 7:55 hours, exclusive to Live Radio 97.3 FM.
Get ready to. Get ready to. My radio station.
Live Radio main news headline. Live Radio main news headlines.
The headlines right here on Live Radio 97.3 FM. Economics Association of Zambia challenges government to address the rising cost of living. Professor Ndolo says there is no alternative to debt restructuring. In other news, Mopani has paid 341 million in taxes since March. Government reviews. For this, as well as more stories, you do to remain with us right here on Live Radio 97.3 FM. Good morning.
Be part of the excitement. Entertainment. Great
We are going in.
interaction. Up-to-date local and international news. Climate change data. All this on Live Radio. Go green, the future we want.
The National Biosafety Authority, NBA, is a government statutory body established under the Biosafety Act No. 10 of 2007, whose mandate is to regulate the research, development, application, import, export, transit, contained use, release, or placing on the market of any genetically modified organism, GMO, whether intended for use as a pharmaceutical, food, feed, or processing or a product of a GMO. We are situated in Chilanga, next to Nisa on Mount Makolu Road. Or you can call us on +260 211 278316. National Biosafety Authority, harnessing biotechnology for sustainable development in Zambia.
After 18 to bring your company. Always make sure you stay with on 97.3 FM.
Stories and weekends.
If you're driving along the street, make sure you drive through to the
Join the celebration, the music flowing of Live Radio. Of magic here on the radio.
Local top stories discussing topics making headlines in the local newspapers around Zambia. Local top stories.
Just in case this is when you're joining us, welcome back. This is the local top story segment, and of course today we are sitting down with a PF member as well as a lawyer in Celestine Mpundu, who's helping us understand issues from the legal perspective, as well as from his analysis with regards to the state of affairs in the country. And of course, in a few minutes we'll be able to open the phone lines with regards to you taking part on the conversation right here on Live Radio 97.3 FM. With that said, let's proceed with the conversation as we look into the aspect of policing in the country, which has received obviously so much attention, and there is obviously a reaction that has come forth from the Chapter 1 Foundation with regards to the statement that President Hakainde Hichilema made. Linda Kasonde, rather, the executive director of Chapter 1 Foundation, says that her foundation rather is deeply alarmed by President Hakainde Hichilema's recent remarks, particularly about deploying the army to address lawlessness and the suggestion of surveying citizens in WhatsApp groups. With that said, I might want to hear from you as to whether you are for the idea that looking into a situation where the country is in, if the police fails to do their work, it is justifiable that the army should be deployed to help keep the lawlessness that is out there.
You see, my opinion is very unpopular, by the way.
Okay.
My opinion is that the failure by the police to enforce the law equitably is as a result of bad leadership. Now, bad leadership at the helm of the commander-in-chief, bad leadership at the helm of the commander of the police, that's being the IG. Now, why do we say so? You see, the law is very clear. The law should be applied equally and equitably. Why should there be selective justice? What we are seeing is a situation where the lower ranks of the police officers are operating under extremely difficult conditions, extremely difficult circumstances. They are failing to make decisions to either charge a person, to either award them a police bond for fear of being victimized, for fear of being considered as though they belong to an opposing view or an opposing political party, for fear of being transferred, for fear of being dismissed. And we have seen this happening. So the lower ranks of the police are operating under extremely difficult conditions. Unfortunately, today we've got a commander-in-chief who will give an instruction to say, before you can arrest someone, ensure that you have done your investigation, you will have noticed and identified the offense that you're going to charge the person with, if it is cognizable, if it is a misdemeanor or one that is bondable, award the bond immediately, you charge the person. What have we been seeing? What we have been seeing, and I only hope and wish that President Hakainde should listen to what is being told by his people on the realities of what is obtaining on the ground, not the ones that are candidates, the ones that are chewing from him. You know, we've got people, and it is sad that this is happening to everyone. We've got people that are picked up by the police, detained, kept in cells for 4 or 5 days, 6 days, as against the provisions of the law, and in abrogation of their human rights, without being charged. You ask the police to say, why aren't you charging this person? They tell you to say, I'm waiting for an instruction. Instruction from where? From above. Okay, where is the above? So it is clear, as long as it is an offense attached or connected to a person who's opposed to the views of government, or it's attached to a complainant coming from the state or a party in government, the police will have fear to act. So it is clear, if the head of state will equally indicate that if the police fail, will ensure that we deploy the army to assist in that. It's a clear admission of failure by the head of state to manage his police officers. It's a clear admission of the head of state of failure by the head of state to manage his cadres in his political party. Because the IG is on record indicating to say the other camp is ready, always ready to attack. What does that mean? Now the question again is, what is the job of the police? The job of the police is to protect, safeguard human life, protect your rights, enforce the law equitably. Why should the police indicate to say, no, the other side is always ready to attack? It simply means that the police already know of the schemes of the other side. Now, who are the other side? It is the UPND. The police are indicating to the Zambian people and the Republican president that the UPND is an extremely violent party. They are always ready to attack. And that is the reason why, according to the police, they are saying that is the reason why we are not allowing political rallies to go on. But I will tell you that today as we talk, my brother, and the listener out there, President Hakainde Hichilema has come out in the history of this country as being the first person holding the office of president to have ruled a country for more than 2.5 years without allowing opposition political parties to have a public gathering.
Obviously, people...
The first, and he always says that I am the first. Now, this one is one that deals to the core of our democracy, one that deals to the core of our human rights. And now, he's the first president to have governed a country for more than 2.5 years
Now, Mr.
without his police officers allowing a public rally.
Mr. Mkanda, how sincere are you of what you're talking about when even the former president, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, is trending on social media with a video suggesting him saying that it was not necessary for the opposition to be holding rallies in that the country was not in campaign period?
Now, you see...
Was the UPND and other opposition players holding rallies as you are claiming that the current president, President Hakainde Hichilema, is the first not to allow opposition to hold rallies?
And you see...
How true is that, and how sincere are you?
And you see, I will tell you that I will never trade on lies, and that is my principle. My principle, I will tell you, just a minute, I will tell you, just a minute, I will tell you that President Edgar Lungu is on record indicating that. Yes, as a matter of fact, it's not campaign time. Now, is it a human right to allow individuals to assemble? Is it a guaranteed right in the Constitution? Yes, it is. Where the opposition members then, in his leadership, allowed to assemble? The answer is yes. At which rally or at which avenue did President Hakainde Hichilema go on stage with a Pamela and a small sachet of cooking oil, telling the Zambian people that if it's cheaper when you vote me in? Is it not a public rally that was allowed by the then state? But of course, President Lungu had his opinion.
Circumstances, obviously.
President Lungu had his opinion to say it is not time for political rallies. But did he stop? Did he infringe on the rights guaranteed or enshrined in the Constitution to stop President Hakainde from having a rally? Which rally? He told the Zambian people in Chinsali to say, we shall arrest the people like Kampiongo. We shall ensure that these people are arrested. Was that not a public gathering? Now, was the law not followed equitably? Despite of the fact that the head of state had an opposing opinion to say, I don't think it is the right time to have political rallies. It is not the right time. But should we infringe on the rights of party members or opposition political parties to mobilize their political parties? Now, we're looking at the president who was voted in on the basis of the rule of law and promising the Zambian people that I shall rule by the rule of law. What are we seeing? We are seeing a young man in Chilanga by the name of Minos Soko complaining to say, now we've got a president who will come to address us and just spends 3 hours talking about Edgar Lungu. He doesn't talk about the cost of millimil. He doesn't talk about the arrests that are happening. We've got a young man working at a filling station today as we are talking in Garden called Kefas Moyo, complaining that this president has not inspired any hope in us. But he told us that hope and help is coming. What is happening is I've been working at a filling station for more than whatever number of years, but what is happening is my salary remains the same, but the cost of living has almost doubled. How then do I manage as a person working at a filling station? We've got a young man in Ndola by the name of Lanzi Chirufya who equally complain that the security situation is bad. Cadres are just mushrooming and they are just beating people and the police are not acting. Imagine, that is how bad it has become. Where we've got a leadership in power that does not look to the issues that are affecting the Zambian people. I am personally affected by the fact that the next caller will tell you, the first caller who will call you, will tell you, will acknowledge the fact that the cost of millimil is extremely high. Transportation, mabasi adula. But what is this government doing about it? Fuel is expensive. The cost of transporting goods and services has become too expensive. All this is because of bad leadership of this government.
All right. Let's open up the phone lines and get your take in line with our conversation right here on live radio 97.2 FM. When you call in, I'm giving you a minute to ask your question or make your contribution on the discussion. The number is 0977-624-270. That is 0977-624-270. You're through to live radio. Hello, good morning. All right, 0977-624-270. Good morning.
Yeah, of course, Mwakapandi Matilda Pandi.
Toka pano kama wewe Mwakapa.
Masia mikamulongo wa chuo cha Botswana kumamocha. Bali Bwanji wali studio.
Buno Bwanji, Mwaka Bwanji.
Masia mikamulongo wa chuo cha. Yeah, yani nikumbuke maradi ya mene muna walesa wa president ikainga ichilema. Wamene kuno kwa nyama. Pamene paja pamene muna manga manyumba ya wa polisi paja. Muna walesa. Iyo ya mene mkamba chilenzo rangi za chisamera na chisalani. Yenze time yama kampeni. Ima mwenze kubalesa oro kuyenda mu radio station mwenze kubalesa. Bana chokera pa mtende kukopa belti kuchi. Chokera pa wamba president. Ni vichani bwoli baba mene tinachita kuri inwe. Olo kuti mukali kuponya mara mulonga mwamene mwenze kuponyira pamene mwenze mururi. Kimiregelera. Chocha mene kikamba likuti embegezanti ya nyama kampeni kwele. Nizimika. Imankara ni 3 months campaign.
Alright.
Yes.
Kama hiyo ya siku
Songa tunudapitiriza kuponyara muro. Wapolisi tuwa kunikana uziwati. Mwanga mwamene mwenze wazira imebene poma ni rutambo vene kampiongo. Kukipionani mendo payani haa. Wakuni katie wapolisi waziwa mwaponya mara muro.
Alright, kama hiyo time is up. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my brother.
Good morning, Mpande. How are you doing today?
Very well, very well, very well.
Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. For me, I want to say this, that I think it's hypocritical for Mukandila to come there and start scandalizing the government that is doing everything possible to ensure that the rule of law prevails in this country. My brother, not so long ago, people that were associates and appointees of Mr. Lungu are serving jail sentence for murder. If you're not aware of that, the person who is an appointee of the president shooting people recklessly in public, and today he has the good to come there and defend criminality that happens under the TF. What kind of lawyer is he? Okay? Let's talk about cadres now. Have you ever seen guns there? Guns were blazing under the party that is supporting it, under Mr. Lungu. We no longer have cadres who are carrying guns and killing people the way it used to be. This time around is a free man from the time the program started. Has never been attacked. Let's be serious when we are debating national issues. Let's not bring in hooliganism in the national issues. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Hello, good morning.
What was his name?
Hello, ma, sipo kani kwa.
Twashuka fe no mama nyenda mashuka chani kwa.
Wewe mani studio tuandani.
Ba Mukandila, Celestine Mukandila.
Mugabu chibadara.
Autabuka kabotu.
Wanzanda wanesena na mleti londolola bwino pesana. Umrandu wako eba chipali tribalism. Yako sano mbale tuleo mpaponze po waenda. Kale anda tribalism tribalism. Koneni asimwetwa bali pera statement ukola ti let me confess. Ukana kumwabo. Noti mundu wakatikiza ukola twaliwo za simba kambwili. Ukola ti alanda by tribalism. Pati government power. Ba president wana mkepo kuti address vanhu vakoneli asimwetwa kwezede. Mwana ni bali rumendo abaine kutuka baeti kachagwa lungu atao tifuna tiwajue baeti kachagwa lungu. Ba president wana kumyeko. Mwana ni rumendo udewa tukeba nani kani. Abana rumendo bali abakongere balungu kunani kani kuja. Ukutukana balungu ba president wana kumyeko. Ikichalo chalo chetu. Ima muninali ngolokwenda kwenda station to station, radio to radio. Ukula ndete tindifilipile. And for sure la president wezoenda na tuunga. Tuunga na tuunga chikumza kakula hapo kaunga kati ya nika 100 kwacha. Ani nika 1 kwacha. Mugarasa mataka kafise kwacha. Soka twa hapo kuberu kwa tiba president. Ngaa tira mwatu webero kwa chikunga kwa fise kwacha. Pesa ya 250 ili kuti. Tekwa tina tubapata. Lucy, Panama Vachata, then Kuratibaya Kupota, Ningono Nivarelanda. Monena Figava Trapero, Quando Qualati, Munoka now for the 10 pin, Alaporama 10 pin in London. Now, Nama 5,000, Alaporama 5,000 in London. So, Okalema, Kusat, Dress, Kuenda, Radio to Radio, Uzani, and all the good Avadu.
Mama Nurinda.
Government, no.
All right, Mama Nurinda, thank you so very much. Hello, good morning. To a bomba for you,
from Navarra.
All right, please go ahead, welcome. All right, let me pick my final caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're from?
My name is Colin Mashur.
All right, Colin, please go ahead.
Okay, I just found the program on the middle of on the middle, but however, just give me just a minute, my brother. You see, when you go on a radio station, don't go and lie to the people. Please don't do that. I'm a journalist, and I was covering the president having the Hitler. When the guy who's in the studio there is lying to say, no, President Edgar Lungu was allowing the opposition to assemble. Where? I'm one of the journalists. If you know Kalan Machima, I'm one of the journalists who was detained I don't know how many times under the PF. Everywhere President having the Hitler went across this country, he could not assemble anywhere. Now, the time he's talking about Pamela, the president started using it when he was moving around during those road shows. That was the only time
Kalan, good morning. Kalan, good morning.
But you know,
Just hold him, let him not go.
Product since the Kaunda days. When did that song of Weshenko produced? It was under Kaunda. Alright? Those guys, the PF, they found Millimio at how much? And let me make it clear. The president was very, very, very clear. And I still support when he said Millimio under his government, what did he mean? Him being a farmer, he said, all of us, let's grow something. And Zambians responded by growing maize everywhere. What that meant was that, of course, not everybody is going to grow maize. But according to him, if only 5 million people could grow maize, and looking at how many people are Limina Matava, we are not going to be queuing in Shopra to anywhere to go and buy cheap milk, because all of us are going to buy shop. So that guy should not be cheating people.
Before you go,
so lastly, you are saying Edgar was allowing people to assemble freely and so forth in Impika. The president held a rally in Impika where he was saying Campion was arrested. That was during 2016 when he held a rally in Impika. I was there.
Who was president?
In any case, they even stopped him from landing there. Honorable Campion, I'm saying Honorable Campion because I was asked. There were about 400 cadres who were sent from Lusaka and come today. I can bring you the videos. So stop lying to the people when you go on radio that everything was so rosy under those. You found the fuel yourselves, PF. You found the fuel at 7 kwacha. You took fuel at how much? You found the dollar at 5 kwacha. You took it to how much? You yourselves now musha bill ya fuel.
Kalan, I've got one question for you.
You've left a bill of $800 million.
Unfortunately, Kalan, I'd have to let you go. Thank you so very much for your submission. I appreciate. Mr. Mkandela, I'll give you an opportunity to respond, please.
I think I will start with our good civil servant, Kalan Mushimba. You know, we need to stick to the realities. I indicated in the first place. I am not here to lie to anyone. I think Kalan has forgotten that he equally comes from the neighborhood where people have to buy mealie meal today at 350 and 370 plus.
As well as
He comes, and as well as 230 for ZNS mealie meal, which is not sufficient to hold on to the demand of the mealie meal. And Kalan comes from a community where himself and myself are now buying fuel at 35 kwacha per liter, more than what his government found it at. But you see, these are colleagues, and I will not want to be very personal because now he's a civil servant. I know right now the UPND has tried by all means to institutionalize cadreism to the extent of having cadres such as Kalan at Zanis. But I will tell you that
obviously,
this is an individual. This is an individual who supported a president who lied to the Zambian people that fertilizer will be buying fertilizer at 250. This is an individual who's acknowledged that fuel is expensive. Now the PF, the time who are leaving power, we left fuel at 17 kwacha, which was 16.58. But today fuel we're buying at 31 kwacha. Am I lying to the Zambian people? Is Kalan really staying in the same Zambia that you and I are in? I mean, it is not rocket science that the cost of production has increased. It is not rocket science that today Mazabuga Sugar is deciding to increase the cost of sugar because the cost of production has become too expensive because of load shedding.
I must believe, Mr. in Zambia, when the agreement was made and announced by the Minister of Commerce that sugar will not
and I will tell you that that is an illegality. We are not operating an economy that is gagged by price control. No, we are a free market economy. This government is keen on advancing illegalities. There is no law. For example, I saw a certain woman being grabbed her ZNS mealie meal because she decided to increase the price by 10 kwacha or 20 kwacha. That is an illegality. You cannot grab people's bags of mealie meal on the pretext of saying no because ZNS has set a standard price. What law are they using? If ZNS wants to indicate that this standard price shall maintain at that amount, let there be an SI. A law should be enforced. Not where you want to start enforcing your emotions. And that is exactly how we're moving with these colleagues. Imagine, my brother was there, Kalan. He was there when President Hainde was moving in Kanyama. With thugs. He was there when, in fact, Kalan was there when just 3 days ago, cadres went to boo President Dr. Edgar Lungu when he escorted the wife to DEC. Cadres, machete carrying cadres. Kalan has got those videos. Can he also produce a video? Because that is from Zanis. And we should have fair coverage. Zanis has got a video of cadres in Mandevu carrying pangas, riding on buses. Very disappointing. Now, you see, I have always indicated that a wrong that was done by PF should never be justified by the wrongs happening today in this country. And now they've even become worse. President Lungu is on record informing his brother, President Hakainde, to say, my brother, the path you are moving on is a destructive path. I have been on this path before. And the end is always that the Zambian people will rise and vote you out. Now, this is a government, this is the president who, despite the comment that was given to him by his brother, decided to hold a press briefing, spend 80% of the time talking about his brother. And all those were embellishments of lies. Now, the question is, why did he not mention the issue of those cadres that went to the DC office to go and cause commotion and insult President President Lungu? Why did he not mention that? Why did he not mention? Why did he not mention? This is the president who...
And of course, the president did order the police to arrest those who caused commotion rather within bounds.
Why
what
did
further
he?
Statements did you want to hear from the
The
president?
same way that he acknowledged the Bauleni violence is the same way he should have acknowledged the Mandevu violence. It is the same way he should have acknowledged the violence that happened or occurred at the DEC. It is the same way that he should have acknowledged the assault on the rights of President Lungu to move and see a Catholic bishop in Kabwe. It is the same way he should have indicated to say, colleagues, as president, I promise the Zambian people I shall rule by the rule of law, and by virtue whereof I will ensure that we respect each and every person's human right.
All right. Mr. Mkandila, as we end, what is it that you might want to use as your closing remarks for today?
Yeah, so I think for today, I will remind each and every Zambian out there to say, we are living in one community. This community we are living in, we are all feeling the pain of the abrogations of human rights that we are faced with in this regime. We are feeling the pain of the abrogation of the free press, you know, the right of the fourth estate. We are feeling the pain of the high cost of living. But I will remind Zambians to say Zambia remains a democratic state whose basis is the Constitution of the Republic. And we should not be intimidated by colleagues intending to deviate the attention of Zambians by intimidating us with arrests. I think the law has protected us, and we remain a constitutional democracy as Zambia.
There you have it. This has been our local top story segment for today. Coming up shortly, it is our breakfast.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas, and good morning to the listener.
It is a pleasure to have you on the program. I must believe that you were a soccer fan yesterday watching the game that Zambia was playing.
Well, unfortunately, I did not even watch the game. I was buried in books.
Okay.
And of course, I tried to avoid the heartbreak. You know, it becomes very tough.
Okay.
For even the players to concentrate on the pitch, knowing very well that your relatives may not be watching the game because of load shedding, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did not have much confidence in that game.
Really?
Yeah.
But you're a patriotic Zambian, isn't it?
Too much. It's,
okay.
Too much.
All right. Let's begin the conversation, obviously, by chipping into perspective the latest appointment associated to the Ministry of Justice. And of course, you being a lawyer, we might want to hear from you just what your initial reaction was as the president did make the historical appointment, as it is being called, first time in the country to have a female justice minister. And of course, as he was swearing in, Princess Kasuna, he did mention that he would want to see how the Ministry of Justice will run with a female minister. You might also want to share with us just some of the expectations from the new Minister of Justice.
Well, I think first and foremost, I would like to congratulate the new minister, Honorable Princess Kasune. And, you know, with appointments come a lot of challenges, and with appointments come responsibilities. And such responsibilities will equally entail that the weight of the judiciary will be placed on the minister, because we're very hopeful that from what we have read with regards to her demeanor, we hope that she's going to maintain a demeanor of integrity as with regards to what we have seen and what we have read. We hope that she's going to maintain integrity in that she shall not be used entirely by the executive to abrogate or to do wrong things, especially to woo irregularities in the judiciary, and just to degrade the integrity of the judiciary. You know, considering the fact that she's not of counsel, we hope that she is going to be able to listen more from the lawyers in the profession, as well as the lawyers in the ministry, so she understands the operations of the ministry. We are hopeful that she's going to listen more to the technocrats in the ministry, especially the voice of reason from the technocrats, and not just bulldoze policies as the case was. So I'm hopeful that we might have a heart of a mother, and the Zambian people are hopeful that the heart of a mother can be seen in her. Yeah. So the only fear is that, you know, we've got a government that has been keen on abrogating provisions of the law. We've got a government that has been bulldozing irregularities day in, day out. I'm hopeful that she will be equal to the task.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But let's get into the thorny issues under perspective. Obviously, the country in the last 15 days has seen the arrest of politicians who obviously were deemed to have issued tribal remarks, as well as being in the space of pushing the seditious practices into perspective. And of course, the individuals arrested include Danny Pule of Dunamis Church, as well as the president of the Christian Democratic Party. We have Munia Zulu, a member of parliament for Lumezi. We do have Mabonga, a member of parliament for Mufue constituency. And of course, Brenda Changala, a civil rights activist, inclusive of Edith Nawakwi. And of course, these were arrested on the grounds of them having issued remarks that were deemed to be hate speech, as well as tribal remarks. And of course, in this relation, they even received early charges of espionage in relation to the initial charges that the police did slap on them. There was a submission that was made by the president of NDC, Nsabo Imboila, that as a country should do away with a law that pushes people into the offenses of hate speech, as well as tribal talks. We wanted to hear from the legal perspectives to start with what exactly defines seditious practices, because this is basically something that has become so famous in the country, and seemingly we do not have a full interpretation of what seditious practices are, because others feel this is just a way of silencing the opposition.
Well, I will tell you that most of these laws that we have are archaic. And why do I say they are archaic? It's because they were meant by the colonial masters, or should I say they were meant by a regime that was somewhat dictatorial, to curtail voices of reason, voices that would be able to oppose to their reasoning, you know. So seditious practice, like every other law, is provided for in the Penal Code, and it being a law that actually trades thinly on thin ice of abrogating human rights with regards to freedom of speech and freedom of movement, association, and all. So there is a very thin line that would be seen with regards to seditious practice, as well as where one expresses their freedoms of expression and freedoms of association. The law has provided for seditious practice to being a statement made with the aim of influencing a rising against a legitimate government, and also those should be based on untrue scenarios or untrue statements, you know. But the challenge that has been there is that in as much as we will move with that provision of the law, the courts have equally guided that seditious practice as a law and the application of that particular law, enforcement of that particular law by governments, has been abused to the extent that it's been abrogating, governments have been abrogating the rights to freedom of expression, the right to freedom of association.
Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, J Cool, and turn on the notification bell, cause I'm gonna see you in the next video.